Morning, people. Okay, well, it's another grey day and it's going to rain later, so I'm afraid no bicycle. So today I'm going to give you a talk, which is what I said I would do. There's a surprise. About bullying. And this is going to be for my young people. Okay, believe it or not, I'm still young. Don't let the beard and the bald head and the fact I look old fool you. I'm still young. Alright? I'm still also able to be bullied. So just because I'm sort of oldish now doesn't mean you can't be bullied in life. So I just thought sorry, concentrating. Oh, come on, traction control, Prius. I just thought I'd let you know a few things about being bullied. It's okay to feel the way you feel, and it's not the end of the world, although it is the end of the world. Okay, so wow, no traffic. So it is a weird thing. Unless you've been bullied, you cannot understand the big deal about being bullied. It's horrible. It is horrible. But there are certain times in life it's going to be horrible. Now, I've spoken about in my other vids, because I'd already been through bullying at school, and I'm talking every single day. The only days I didn't get bullied was the days my bully wasn't at school. So you need to think about that every single day. And I went to school praying that he wouldn't be at school. So the day that he didn't go to school was great. That was a great day for me. Or I would pretend to be ill and not go to school. On those lessons that I knew I'd have him for like 3 lessons, I would make up an excuse, not come in, various other stuff. So it happened. Now, as with I've brought and bringing 2 children up that aren't my own. One 10 years ago. I brought her up for like 6 years. From the age of 7 to what, 14, 13. So a real influential time. She was bullied because she was beautiful, she was clever, and people liked her. So you're going to get bullied. Now, you're going to get bullied by a bully for whatever. If you're clever, you're going to get bullied. If you're stupid, you're going to get bullied by him. If you look good, you're going to get bullied by him. If you don't look good, you're going to get bullied by him. If you've got long hair, you're going to get bullied by him. If you've got short hair, you're going to get bullied by him. Because he's a cunt. That's all it is. That's as simple as it gets. He's an asshole. Okay, it's nothing to do with you. It's nothing to do with the way you look. If he's picking on something because of what you look like, who you are, what your gender is, what you like to do, because you've got no fingers, because you've got brown eyes, it doesn't matter. It's not something you need to get emotionally upset over and have it scar you for the rest of your life. Yeah, it's easy for me to say, I hear you say. But it is easy for me to say because I've lived through it and I've used my bully's actions in later life. Now, when I'm at school and he's bullying me, and he bullied me everywhere, and I used to hate it if I saw him outside school, and I never got the backup from my parents. You know, my kids I've been bringing up, I'm like, you fight. If they fight you, you fight them back. If they hit you, you hit them 10 times harder. And I never had that support, and I wish I did. I've taught my kids to fight. I did a few years of martial arts. So I've taught my kids to fight. They know how to put someone on the floor. They know how to use them against each other, use them against themselves, borrowed force and all sorts of stuff like that. some sub-level 4 stuff. So it's wrong. Violence is never right, but there are certain people on the planet who are fucks, like little bullies. So I don't like it. I've never liked it, and even now I won't stand for it, and my kids won't stand for it. In the fact that my Corky, she told me to pull over, and we stopped the car. She got out because some kids were having a fight, and basically told them to go do one. As I have done on many occasions, pick kids up by the scruff of their necks and just said, look, come on, you're in the street fighting, you look like a pair of cocks. If you want to go and fight, join a boxing ring. And some kids like to fight. I wasn't averse to fighting. I used to fight. Didn't win, but I used to fight. And when I went to Dutchy College, I was fighting. I was fighting with the agrics all the time. Now, bearing in mind, that's an agricultural college. So you've got 16-year-olds who are 6'3" wide and 6'3" tall. And we would play quite rough games of anything, really, just fighting. And I was a skinny little runt at college. I was still a skinny little runt, but I still won't be pushed around, and that goes through all my life. If I think something is unjust and wrong, I say it's unjust and wrong. If that gets me into trouble and loses my position at work, gets me into trouble and loses my position at work. The fact that I'm being vocal and saying the things that I was going to say rely on, but it's not reliability. I don't rely on my morals and strict morals to keep me just in life. It's just something you do. I don't agree with violence. I don't like people being picked on. If someone's being picked on in the street, I'm the first one to be there and try and stop it. Strange, isn't it? Now, is it bad to have been bullied? Difficult, that one. So you may be watching this having been bullied or getting bullied as we speak, and think that this is, you can't go on, you can't cope with this, you're going to end it, you're going to jump off a cliff, you're going to do something stupid, you're going to harm yourself. What the fuck? So someone picks on you, so you hurt yourself. Yeah, doesn't figure. But will that help you in life? Is being bullied what makes you... You've only got to look at the amount of famous people that have been bullied, okay? The only one that comes to mind is Beyonce. She was bullied, something chronic. Just type in famous people that are bullied. I'm sure the Google will come up with millions of cases. And is it that bullying that's enabled them to be resilient in that industry? Because it's so hard in that industry. Many people would have said, oh, I'm not doing it. The first person to pick on you, or VTR, first person to pick on you, or kick you, and you're out. Whereas then you've already got that inbuilt mental resilience, which you need in life, because life can be pretty hard and pretty shit. So does it inbuild that mental resilience into you to be able to get on with life, whereas other people would have crawled into a hole and not come out, whereas you will be more inclined to attack it and get on with it. My boy's being bullied, and bless him, he doesn't want to go to school, but he does, and I admire him for that, because it's horrible having to go to school knowing that is what you are going to face. But in a lot of times in life, you know the shit you're going to face, whether it be employment, whether it be health, whether it be relationships. You know the shit that you're going to face. And I look back at my cancer. I knew I was going to have 9 weeks of chemotherapy. I knew, because we're educated enough to know what these drugs do to you. I knew what it was going to do to my beautiful physique, my strength, my fitness levels. Obviously, I didn't have to worry about my hair. That fell out before chemo. It fell out with chemo, what little bits I had. And my beard fell out. Washed my face one day in the shower, and I look at my hands and it's all covered in beard. Kind of shocking. So was it the bully that made me go to school every day, made me go through that shit every day? Is that what helped me with my chemo? Is that what helped me fucking eat my chemo? You know, I was desperate to get my chemo every day. So if you want to know, check out my other vids. I did BEP chemo, 3 sessions, three weekly sessions, so it's 9 weeks. I did go in on the Sunday, hydrate, Monday chemo, Tuesday chemo, Wednesday chemo, Thursday chemo, Friday chemo, Saturday would go home. And then that would start, then I'd go back in on a day 9. So that would obviously be 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'd be back in on the Tuesday, Wednesday for a 4-hour hit, sat in a chair as an outpatient. Then you go home. Then you come in on day 15 for another hit. Okay, so you do another hit on day 15. And after the day 15, you then start again at day 21. The other cycle, so that's the next 3-week cycle. Same thing, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, day 9, day 15. So that was chemo. So I did that 3 times. I went down to 7 stone. So it's not a lot. Went down to like 7 stone. Couldn't eat, couldn't drink. Teeth fell out. Yeah, shit. I've got no teeth back here. Look after your teeth. So yeah, so that's the chemo. Check out my chemo vids, because that might help you as well. Testicular and lung cancer I had, so I had a bollock off. You don't need to. You don't need to? No, you don't need to. But it is an operation you can't afford to have more than once. So is it the fact of being bullied that makes you who you are, and you need to look at the issues your bully must have? Because my bully, and it wasn't just my bully, he bullied everyone except for his gang, you know, the little group of bullies. And he obviously clearly had issues, massive issues with himself to do that. Now I can analyse it and think how horrible it was, because he did end up taking his life later in life. And it really upset me emotionally, you know, because I know that I could call any of my friends at whatever time. There's probably five friends I've got that I could ring and say, I'm sat on the bridge, I don't know what to do, you know. And to have that structure is something that's I couldn't live with. When I had my chemo, my friends were there, my family was there, and to have that support system. And I hasten to add, I think maybe only one of them is someone from school who was also bullied. And I've met up with friends we've discussed said bully and our emotions in regard to him ending his life, and it's a very strange thing that you're still not happy that he took his life, because even though he was a complete and utter shit to you, would I have changed that? Would I have wanted to go through the shit that I've gone through in my life? And I've had shit times. And would I have wanted to go through that shit in my life without actually going through a bully at school? I don't know. Who knows? Who knows if that's why I have this strong anti-bullying nature in me? Is that why I can now go to my brain injury clients, which is what I'm doing now? So check out my book videos, you'll see all the weird jobs I've had. And now I work with brain injuries, and you can sit there for 3-4 hours with someone with a brain injury, calling you the most obscene names you could possibly imagine for 2 or 3 hours. And just think of that, being sat in a chair for 2 or 3 hours with someone that you're there to care for, calling you names for 2 to 3 hours. They don't mean it. And the skill comes in when you first start, maybe with brain injuries. It takes you a while to get the triggers, to find the things that are going to upset your client. And even though they've got brain injuries, you can still speak and have a semi-lucid conversation with them. So you need to try and switch these people, and afterwards they'll be remorseful. Well, some of the times they'll be remorseful. They won't know why they've done it. They're on a lot of medication, which fucks with your head. So yeah, maybe I couldn't have done this job if I wasn't bullied at school. So if you are going through bullying, guys, drop me a comment. Let me know if this helped. Let me know what you think schools should do, because I haven't met a school that have done anything yet. When I was at school, didn't do shit. I mean, if it was me and there was a bully, I'd have him up in front of this class. Why are you doing this? And have the kids tell that bully how it feels, how their behaviour is influencing them. Because for all we know, and this is later in life, if you're being harassed, upset or distressed by someone, their defence is, oh, well, you didn't tell me. How am I supposed to know that? You didn't tell me. You didn't tell me that I was upsetting you by doing that. Just thought we were having a laugh. Just thought it was a bit of banter. And don't be afraid ever in your life to tell someone, don't like that. Don't like the way you treated me. I had it with the guy, I used to call him Pip, because he was called Philip. And I used to say, where's Pip? Because obviously from Great Expectations. Obviously the old one, Sir John Mills. And he used to call him Pip. Pip. Young Pip. So I used to call him Pip just because he was called Phil. And one day he took me to one side, quite a young lad, teenager. And he took me to one side and said, you know, I'm not kind of happy about you calling me that name. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm sorry, why? I'll call you by a different name. Didn't really, I mean, I used to get called Jobby. Used to have Jobby wrote on my tools, as in a turd, a Jobby. How did I get that? Big Jobby. Jobby. Don't know how I got that nickname. Don't know. Weird. Anyway, so yeah, this is to the young people being bullied who think this is the most horrible thing. Tell your teachers though. They might not do fuck all, but tell your teachers. They might do something. Tell your bully. Tell him fuck off. Tell him, why are you being so fucking horrible? Do you know how fucking horrible you are? Now, that might get you a slap in the face. Also, these bullies need to understand, if you punch someone in the face, be ready to go to prison. I know 2 people who've done time because they've killed people, because they punched them in a fight and they've died, because you don't know how thick their skull is. You don't know, and that's a legal term, is the thin skull syndrome or something in law. And that's if so if you punch someone in the head and they die, yeah, it's kind of different because they've got a thin skull, so you kill them because they got a thin skull. You don't know who's got a thin skull. You don't know if they're going to fall and hit their head on a table or a curb and kill themselves. And you'll be like, well, I didn't mean to do that, but you didn't know. So if you punch someone in the head with a thin skull, you can kill them. Okay, now there's 2 different swings in the law on that. If you punch someone in the head and you know they've got a thin skull, so you know you possibly can kill them, then obviously the intent is there, you know you're going to kill them. But if you punch them in the head and you didn't know they had any issues, you don't know if anyone's got a brain tumour or a brain embolism or a blood vessel that's weak inside their brain. You don't know that. And this was the first things we were taught in martial arts. If you punch someone in the face, be ready to go to prison because they might die. The first lesson of self-defense that we got taught, and this is by an ex-Special Forces legionnaire, was, who again doesn't like bullying, which is amazing because he used to kill people. Very weird. One of the sweetest, most loving, I'm not going to get emotional, but I love him and he's dying. And that's kind of weird as well. Your friends who aren't going to be there when you get older. Whew. Don't know where that come from. But that's life. The first thing he taught us was run away from a situation. If you can get away from a confrontation and a fight, if you're in a club and you see it kicking off, or you see a bunch of guys going, oh look, there he is, we're gonna fucking... If you see that, you go to your mates and say, right, I'm going, you can come with me, or I'm going, because it's kicking off. You could even talk to the bouncers and say, look, these guys are gonna fucking give me a pasting. Is there a back way out? Because once they're sober, they probably won't even think about it. So just use your brains when you get older about bullying as well. But it is important to tell someone that they're being horrible to you and harassing you, because if it does get to the stage where the police get involved, or legal reasons get involved, civil or criminal, they can turn around and say, oh, I never knew, I didn't know the things I was doing to you upset you, just had no idea. I mean, if he told me, I wouldn't have done it. And that happens. And you can write to them, you can inform people about it, because bullies are allowed to be bullies, will be bullies when they get older. Yeah? So it is important at school to nip it in the bud. And like I said in my other video, it was nice to look down on my bully. It was nice to, not physically, but from a place of experience and things I'd done, to suddenly see him, and I held no malice towards him. It was strange. I didn't care about what he did to me. And when you're at school, it seems like all these people around you, the most important people in your world, are they fuck? Are they fuck? I speak, well, obviously Facebook's made it a bit different in your time, our time. But when I left school, I never fucking saw him. I was gone. I was in Marlborough, I was in New Zealand, I was in Australia. I never fucking saw it. I did see one of them, one of my mates from school in Australia. That was quite funny. And you kind of look at each other, you're like, and as you're looking at each other, you're like, and you sort of like, at the same, it's a weird sensation that when you see someone you know, and by me I mean know as in like a year above me at school. That was just the weirdest feeling. And the other thing, I don't know what it's like for you, because I don't know who you are. When I was a kid, all my friends were of different ages, and now